sure which one it's doing. But either way, this resistor limits the current for protecting the outputs, which will be acted as inputs at that point at that time. But also it means if it is pulling them low, it means you won't get too much ghosting in the LEDs because it's a very low current. The voltage across the batteries is monitored by this 1 mega ohm resistor and a 270k resistor, and then that feeds back. So it divides it down so it can monitor the voltage and terminate the charge at hopefully the correct level, noting that it's making a guess if the cells are balanced or not. If they get out of balance, it will potentially overcharge one of the cells. They're just relying on the fact that from you, this battery pack is going to be splendid. It's going to be well balanced. Maybe they plug it in and balance it, and then they ship it out, and forevermore it will be balanced apparently. The motor with the shortcut has constant protection with the MOSFET, the current sense resistor down here, and that current sense resistor under high load, you'll get a voltage across that. That gets filtered via this 1 mega ohm resistor and this capacitor to smooth that out, get a nice stable reading, and the microcontroller then monitors the voltage across that resistor to actually determine how much current. So if you're actually using that and it's stalled and the current shoots up, what I'm guessing it does is it will boost it up initially to try and get it running again, to keep that, get that current back down, because it will be the highest in the stalled state. But if it gets a sustained high voltage across this resistor, it will probably detect the motor is stalled or jammed, and it will hopefully cut it off. A bit of science involved in that, because it will potentially be put under load. The current will increase through the motor, therefore the voltage across that resistor will increase, and then normal use it will fluctuate up and down. It must have thresholds that it detects and then gives it a boost, and if it still doesn't get that current down, then it will probably turn the motor off. I haven't tested that. Anything else here that's worth mentioning? Not really. Took a while to reverse engineer, but it was very straightforward to explain. So there we have it. Tiny little circuit board. They have used every single pin in the microcontroller, and ultimately that's it. The motion is being detected by current sensing for when it's under load or stalled. So a bit of a disappointment that they've not used proper cell monitoring. What I thought they were going to do is monitor two voltage dividers and perhaps detect whichever cell came up to 4.2 volts first, it would have cut the charge off, but it doesn't. But maybe it's not even charging it up to the full 8.4 volts. Maybe it's playing safe and just saying, I'll charge up to 8 volts or just under that. Again, I haven't put it on charge for any length of time to see what happens there. I mean, I could put it on charge and then I could add a note to the description of this video. I shall do that. I usually augment the description with anything that I missed or anything that the page can support when I see the video for assessment when I release it. Any issues they may raise. But there it is. It's a logical circuit. It's minimalist. It's cheap. This is what it is. It's like sub £10 shit massage gun with that sort of fairly strong when it is running down. As it runs down the voltage. Other things worth mentioning. The current through the LEDs will lower. The batteries sit in here. The batteries sit in here like this, just above that cam that's going backwards and forwards, but it is limited, so it can't put them, so to speak. And the motor itself has a bearing. It's a bearing nice here, because it rotates very, very freely indeed for that reciprocating action with the eccentric cam. And it goes through, its guide is a little rubber bush here with a flap, and it goes backwards and forwards. Oh, that's so dirty. But having said that, you know what this unit's going to get used for is used by people who wish really their hysteria. But that's it. Very interesting circuit. Disappointed about not monitoring the cell voltage streams that even supply 3 connections on it. And there's no protection inside that I can see because they wouldn't need 3 connections otherwise. But there we have it. An interesting and straightforward circuit, a very regular device for your massagery self-measurement. It's a really basic